Okay, so when we have our counter argument, our counter argument would be, like if I go to Miss Messenger to present her with my claim of uniforms should be required, I'm going to give her my reasons, and I'm going to give her my evidence that I have found. I'm going to tell her, I know what you're thinking, right? I'm already going to be ahead of the game. I'm going to tell her, I know you're thinking, well, not having uniforms gives students the freedom to have their own voice, right? So I'm going to tell her, I already know that that's what you're thinking. So I have some sentence stems on Google Classroom, and we can do this together, okay? You can choose one of these. The one I am going to choose, and you can choose one at this time and write it down, but the one I'm going to choose is, others may say that blank, but I argue that. Okay? Actually, scratch that. I'm going to use critics argue that. I'm going to write that down on my counter argument. And you can choose whichever one you want. This will be on Google Classroom as well. I'm going to say, critics argue that, and the argument is what's opposite of my argument, right? So I'm arguing that uniform should be required. My counter argument is going to be opposite. So what I wrote in maroon, that's going to be my sentence stem. What I write in blue is going to be my counterclaim. Critics argue that uniforms give student their own voice. Okay? And down here at the bottom, we're going to go ahead and scratch out where it says why it's wrong. That's what was confusing me earlier. So go ahead and scratch out where it says why it's wrong. Okay? And instead of saying why it's wrong, you're going to write opinion / reason. Okay? And this is where I'm just going to give a reason. Critics argue that uniforms give students their own voice. And then why? Why? Well, or a reason, because they are able to choose their own clothing. I'm just going to write that. Because they get to pick their own clothing. Okay? So, your counter argument is you just being ahead of the game, and when you're arguing with somebody, you already know what they're going to say, but you're like, that's wrong. Listen to what I have to say. So what I wrote in maroon, that is my sentence stem. But like I said, in Google Classroom, under argumentative, you can find counter argument sentence stems. And that document will look just like this. You have 5 options. You can choose the one that you like the best. Mine was critics argue that, and that's what I ran with. Okay? So, go ahead and at this time write your own counter argument.